What is it that shifts within us when we encounter the numinous, those extraordinary moments when the boundaries of our understanding dissolve and we are left awestruck by the vastness of existence? Whether it is the quiet reverence of standing beneath the Milky Way or the thunderous roar of a stormy ocean, these moments stir something primal and profound. They connect us to a sense of the sacred, the infinite, or the unknown, inviting us to glimpse a reality beyond the ordinary. To explore these experiences is to step into the interplay of science, spirituality, and psychology, a triadic relationship that mirrors the very nature of the numinous itself. From the traditional awe of religious ritual to the modern wonder of quantum mechanics, humanity has sought to describe and understand this phenomenon, yet no single perspective suffices. The numinous resists simplification, thriving instead in the confluence of diverse frameworks. Here we will examine the numinous through two lenses: the richly textured accounts of human experience and the groundbreaking insights of quantum psychology. Together they reveal how the numinous arises from dynamic relationships between environment, perception, and emotion, between stimulus, recognition, and transformation, and between time, meaning, and self. To embark on this exploration, we must first equip ourselves with an understanding of both the human experience of the numinous and the scientific analogies that parallel its intricacies. Human accounts are fundamental to understanding the numinous experience. Not only are these steeped in emotion, culture, and context, but the stories reveal their interconnections. They describe the interplay of physical environments, grand cathedrals, roaring oceans, vibrant auroras, with personal perceptions and transformative insights. These moments touch on the universal human yearning for connection to something greater than oneself. Juxtaposed with this, quantum mechanics offers a fascinating metaphorical framework for understanding the numinous. Concepts like superposition, entanglement, and coherence mirror the interconnected and layered nature of these experiences. In quantum psychology, we find a way to bridge the material and the transcendent, capturing the fluidity and complexity of what it means to encounter the numinous. This exploration takes us on a journey through interwoven frameworks. Numinous experiences often arise in moments where multiple realities seem to coexist. Our perception is simultaneously physical, emotional, and transcendent. It is not the environment alone that evokes the numinous, but its ability to harmonize with our emotional and cultural lenses. Numinous experiences demonstrate reinforcing cycles, causal alignment, nonlinear interconnectedness, and inclusive dependencies, which set up analogies with the groundbreaking theories of quantum physics and enable our insights. So today we will weave the threads of quantum psychology with the vivid tapestry of numinous human experience. Together, these perspectives illuminate a profound truth, that the numinous, far from being confined to the mystical, resides at the heart of reality itself, inviting us to see the world as an intricate dance of interconnected wonder. Let us begin. Coexistence in the numinous experience mirrors the quantum phenomenon of superposition, where multiple states exist simultaneously until observed. In moments of awe, such as standing beneath the aurora borealis or gazing at the Milky Way, the boundaries between environment, perception, and emotion blur. These elements coexist in a dynamic interplay, amplifying and transforming one another into a unified encounter with the sacred. The environment serves as the stage, offering a context of vastness, beauty, or mystery that naturally stirs the human spirit. The aurora borealis, with its vibrant, rippling lights dancing across a dark sky, provides an otherworldly spectacle that envelops the observer in wonder. Similarly, the Milky Way's sprawling brilliance, stretching like a cosmic river across the heavens, invites reflection on the immensity of existence. These environments resonate with something deep within us, evoking not only admiration but a sense of connection to a reality far greater than the ordinary. In this moment, perception shifts beyond the immediate. The observer feels the presence of something transcendent, a sense of divinity, eternity, or interconnectedness that expands their awareness. Beneath the northern lights, one might interpret the auroras as evidence of divine creativity or cosmic forces at play, while the Milky Way's vastness can spark an awareness of eternity or the intricate order of the universe. These realizations are not isolated. They are shaped and filtered through cultural and personal lenses. Like the observer effect in quantum mechanics, these lenses collapse the superposed potential of the moment into a singular, deeply personal understanding of the numinous. The emotional resonance of such experiences grounds these transcendent perceptions, turning abstract realizations into visceral truths. Awe, humility, reverence, and tranquility arise in response to the grandeur before us, reinforcing the perception of sacredness. Under the northern lights, this might manifest as a mix of exhilaration and existential wonder, while the Milky Way may evoke a quieter, more contemplative peace. These emotions, in turn, amplify the environment's impact, deepening its numinous quality and creating a feedback loop of recognition and transformation. The interplay between these elements is as intricate as it is universal. The grandeur of an environment draws us into a state of awe, which fosters a transcendent perception that touches on the infinite. This perception evokes an emotional response which reinforces our connection to the environment, allowing its numinous character to expand. Whether it is the celestial dance of the auroras or the infinite sprawl of the Milky Way, the experience becomes a cyclical harmony of interconnected influences, much like the sustained quantum states stabilized by observation. Yet the numinous is not experienced in a vacuum. It is shaped by context. Cultural frameworks and personal histories act as filters, shaping how we interpret the sacred. A mountain revered as holy in one culture may be seen as merely majestic in another. Similarly, universal triggers, vastness, silence, dynamic beauty, transcend cultural boundaries, offering moments of awe that resonate across human experience. Standing beneath the aurora borealis, one feels the intertwining of these forces. The vibrant, living sky evokes awe, a transcendent awareness of cosmic interconnectedness, and a visceral emotional response. Each element feeds into the others, creating a sacred experience shared across cultures yet profoundly personal. Similarly, gazing at the Milky Way draws one into a timeless dialogue with the cosmos, where the stillness of the night and the brilliance of the stars evoke a peace that transcends understanding. These moments of coexistence reveal the numinous as a superimposed reality, where environment, perception, and emotion merge to connect us to something greater, leaving us forever transformed. Reinforcement in the numinous experience operates much like resonance in quantum oscillators, where a system, stimulated at its natural frequency, sustains and amplifies its vibrational energy. In the numinous, this resonance arises through the interplay of stimulus, recognition, and transformation, a dynamic feedback loop that deepens sensitivity to the sacred with each cycle. Whether it is the harmonious patterns of Gregorian chants or the fleeting beauty of a double rainbow, the numinous thrives on this self-sustaining process. A specific stimulus often initiates the experience. This trigger, whether sensory or cognitive, serves as the entry point into the sacred. In a cathedral, the ethereal tones of Gregorian chanting fill the vast vaulted space, enveloping listeners in sound that feels almost otherworldly. The repetition and resonance of the music align internal states, mental, emotional, and even physical, with the external harmonics of the chant. Similarly, the sudden appearance of a double rainbow can captivate the senses, drawing attention to its vivid colors and near-perfect symmetry, a natural phenomenon so extraordinary that it interrupts the mundane flow of time. Recognition follows, a pivotal moment where the stimulus transcends its surface qualities and is perceived as pointing to something greater. The chant becomes more than music. It is a pathway to the divine, a mirror of cosmic order and eternity. The double rainbow becomes more than a trick of light. It suggests harmony, balance, or even a message from beyond. This act of recognition is deeply personal, shaped by cultural context and individual experience, yet it resonates with universal themes of connection, wonder, and meaning. Transformation is the culmination of this triad, the shift in perspective or emotional state catalyzed by recognition. The listener in the cathedral might feel a profound sense of peace or humility, as if touched by the infinite. The observer of the double rainbow might be moved to reflect on the fragility of beauty, the interconnectedness of nature, or the resilience of life itself. These transformations are not fleeting, they linger, altering how the individual perceives the world and making them more attuned to future numinous stimuli. The interplay of stimulus, recognition, and transformation creates a reinforcing feedback loop, As transformation deepens the individual's capacity for recognizing the sacred, new stimuli more readily evoke similar experiences, amplifying the resonance of the numinous. Rituals and repeated exposure to certain stimuli, such as meditative music, prayer, or contemplative practices, intensify this process over time. The chant that once inspired quiet awe may, through repetition, foster profound spiritual insight, its harmonies echoing ever more deeply within the psyche. Yet this cycle is not immune to disruption. Just as quantum systems can lose coherence, breaking resonance, the numinous can be blocked by cognitive dissonance or emotional barriers. A stimulus that fails to evoke recognition, a chant heard as mere noise, a rainbow dismissed as coincidence, halts the cycle, leaving the sacred unrealized. Such breaks in the feedback loop often highlight internal resistance, whether due to skepticism, distraction, or unresolved conflict. Consider Gregorian chanting within the reverberating acoustics of a cathedral. The stimulus of the chant, with its flowing tones and layered harmonies, draws listeners into a state of heightened awareness. The vaulted ceilings and dim light of the sacred space amplify this effect, creating an atmosphere ripe for recognition. In the act of listening, the music transcends its structure, evoking a sense of divine presence or cosmic order. This recognition fosters transformation, a quieting of the mind, a softening of the heart, or a deep sense of belonging to something greater. The transformation primes the listener for future encounters, making the numinous not just an isolated event but a recurring experience. Similarly, witnessing a double rainbow can ignite the same triadic resonance. The visual stimulus of vibrant arcs against a stormy sky prompts recognition of nature's profound beauty and symmetry. This recognition often transforms the observer, evoking awe, gratitude, or a fleeting sense of being in the presence of the divine. This emotional uplift lingers, attuning the individual to future moments of wonder where the extraordinary emerges from the ordinary. The numinous thrives on this cycle of reinforcement. Each stimulus, each moment of recognition and transformation builds upon the last, creating a resonance that deepens our connection to the sacred. Whether through the timeless chants of monks or the ephemeral beauty of rainbows, these moments invite us into a self-sustaining dance with the infinite, where the interplay of stimulus, recognition, and transformation becomes a pathway to a more profound understanding of existence. Causality in numinous experience echoes the principles of quantum entanglement, where interconnected elements influence one another instantaneously and profoundly. In the interplay of a natural setting, a perceived divine encounter, and the insights that arise, we find a causal relationship that transcends linear understanding. Like entangled particles, these elements remain deeply intertwined, with each shaping and reinforcing the others in ways that transform the observer's perception of both the immediate and the eternal. A natural setting often serves as the initial catalyst. The sheer power and majesty of the environment, whether it be a storm-tossed ocean, a fiery mountain, or the quiet immensity of a forest, demands attention and evokes a primal awareness of forces far greater than oneself. Standing on the shore during a tempest, surrounded by roaring waves and wind, the observer is struck by nature's untamed vitality. Similarly, Mount Sinai, with its thunder, lightning, and fire, provided a sensory experience so overwhelming that it became inseparable from the divine narratives woven around it. These settings possess an immediacy that captures the human spirit, opening it to something beyond the physical. From this natural catalyst, the experience often transitions to what feels like a divine encounter. The stormy ocean is no longer just a natural phenomenon, it becomes a metaphor, a reflection of cosmic or divine power. For Moses and the Israelites, Mount Sinai became not merely a mountain, but a conduit for the presence of God, the stormy grandeur mirroring the magnitude of the divine communication taking place. In these moments, there is a felt presence, whether perceived as a force, a being, or simply a profound awareness of interconnectedness. The natural and the transcendent become entangled, each amplifying the other to create a deeply personal yet universal sense of sacred encounter. From this encounter arises insight, an intellectual or emotional realization that transforms the observer's understanding of themselves, the world, or their place within it. Standing before the stormy ocean, one might reflect on the fragility of life, the resilience of the human spirit, or the interconnectedness of all things. On Mount Sinai, the divine encounter gave rise to profound moral and spiritual insights embodied in the Ten Commandments, which have shaped the moral framework of countless generations. These realizations, often accompanied by feelings of humility, awe, or purpose, extend beyond the moment, influencing how one interacts with similar settings and concepts in the future. This triadic relationship forms a causal cycle where each element, natural setting, divine encounter, and insight, both depends on and reinforces the others. The natural setting evokes the sense of the divine, which in turn fosters transformative insights. These insights reshape how the individual perceives and engages with similar settings, heightening their symbolic or sacred resonance. The cycle is not static. It evolves with each experience, deepening the observer's sensitivity to the numinous and expanding their capacity for reflection and meaning. Modern scientific understanding adds complexity to this dynamic. For some, explanations of natural phenomena, lightning as electrical discharge, storms as meteorological systems, might diminish the numinous impact, reframing what was once attributed to divine causality as the workings of impersonal natural laws. Yet, for others, these very explanations can deepen the sense of awe. To understand the processes behind a storm or the intricate geological history of Mount Sinai does not necessarily negate their sacred quality. Instead, it reframes the entanglement, shifting the focus from divine agency to the wonder of nature's complexity. Consider Mount Sinai as a quintessential example. Its natural phenomena, thunder, fire, and smoke, entangled with the cultural and spiritual lens of those present to create a profound divine encounter. For Moses, the mountain became a medium for receiving divine law, the dramatic setting amplifying the significance of the revelation. The insights derived from this encounter, such as the moral and spiritual principles codified in the Ten Commandments, transformed not only the immediate participants but also the cultural and historical context that followed. The mountain's sacredness persists, its physical presence intertwined with its symbolic role as a site of divine human interaction. Similarly, the stormy ocean exemplifies the causal triad. The raw power of the waves and wind evokes a visceral sense of divine presence, a force that dwarfs human existence while highlighting its fragility. Insights gained from such encounters often inspire reflections on life's transience, resilience, or the delicate balance of ecosystems. These realizations linger, influencing how the individual perceives similar natural phenomena, reinforcing the sacredness of nature and their connection to it. The causal triad invites us to reflect on how modern perspectives influence the numinous. Do scientific explanations diminish the sacred or transform it into a different kind of wonder? Does immediacy, being physically present in the environment, intensify the experience, or can mediated encounters such as art or literature evoke similar entanglements? These questions highlight the evolving nature of the numinous, where the interplay of natural setting, divine encounter, and insight continues to offer profound pathways to meaning and transcendence. The nonlinear dynamics of numinous experiences reveal a fascinating temporal interplay where past, present, and future are not fixed, but continuously reshape one another. This dynamic mirrors the quantum phenomenon of time reversal symmetry, where cause and effect can appear to flow backward, creating layers of meaning that deepen with reflection. In the triad of emotional response, spiritual interpretation, and life change, these elements influence each other in ways that transcend chronological order, forming a feedback loop that amplifies the numinous across time. The journey often begins with an emotional response, a visceral, immediate reaction to an awe-inspiring experience. Standing before a towering waterfall, one feels a surge of wonder or exhilaration, the sheer power and beauty of the cascade evoking emotions that are primal and profound. Similarly, the triumph of reaching a mountain summit brings exhilaration mingled with reverence as the vista unfolds in all its grandeur. These raw feelings are untethered from interpretation, existing in their purest form as an undeniable encounter with something greater than the self. Over time, these emotions invite spiritual interpretation as the mind seeks to contextualize the intensity of the experience. The waterfall might come to symbolize divine creativity or the eternal flow of life, its majesty reframed as a reflection of cosmic order. The mountain summit might be seen as a metaphor for divine providence or the interconnectedness of existence. This reframing process is inherently nonlinear. It may occur days, months, or even years after the initial event, often influenced by subsequent life experiences or evolving worldviews. The spiritual interpretation often catalyzes profound life changes. The individual might adopt new attitudes, behaviors, or perspectives, such as a renewed commitment to environmental stewardship inspired by the waterfall's grandeur, or a deeper sense of gratitude fostered by the mountain's majesty. These transformations are not merely reactions, but become integral to the individual's identity, reshaping how they perceive themselves and their relationship to the world. What makes this triad particularly nonlinear is the way life changes can retroactively influence the original emotional response. Reflection on the impact of a numinous experience may imbue the memory of the event with even greater significance. For example, years after climbing a mountain, an individual might realize how that moment of triumph shaped their sense of resilience, casting the awe they felt at the summit in a spiritual light they could not have articulated at the time. Similarly, a commitment to protecting natural beauty may lead one to revisit the memory of the waterfall, deepening its association with sacred or transcendent meaning. This temporal feedback creates a dynamic interplay where the elements of the triad continuously inform and reshape one another. Emotional responses lead to life changes, which in turn reinterpret those initial emotions, creating a layered, evolving narrative of the numinous. Unlike linear cause and effect chains, this process is fluid and recursive, much like the timeless qualities of sacred experiences themselves. Nonlinear dynamics are not confined to religious frameworks. Secular interpretations of awe operate in much the same way, offering universal accessibility to the numinous. The overwhelming beauty of a waterfall might inspire a sense of interconnectedness with nature, fostering a life change such as conservation efforts. Later, reflecting on these efforts may cast the memory of the waterfall in an even more profound light, reinforcing its transformative power. Similarly, the exhilaration of reaching a summit might inspire personal growth or a newfound sense of purpose, with later reflections amplifying the meaning of the original moment. Consider the towering waterfall. The emotional response, awe mixed with exhilaration, exists independently of interpretation, its power undeniable. Over time, the experience might be reframed as evidence of divine creativity, each drop of water a testament to nature's intricacy. This spiritual interpretation fosters a life change, such as a heightened appreciation for the environment or a commitment to sustainable practices. Yet the process doesn't end there. Years later, as one reflects on the impact of this transformation, the memory of the waterfall takes on new dimensions of significance, the emotional resonance deepened by its enduring influence on one's life. Similarly, climbing a mountain summit illustrates the nonlinear interplay. The immediate emotions of triumph and awe are raw and unfiltered, tied to the physical and sensory magnitude of the achievement. In hindsight, these emotions may be reinterpreted through a spiritual lens, seen as a moment of divine alignment or cosmic connection. This reinterpretation fosters lasting changes in perspective, such as increased humility or gratitude. Over time, the memory of the summit itself evolves, its meaning enriched by the transformative ripple effects it set into motion. The non-linear nature of numinous experiences invites us to question the strict boundaries of time and causality. Can life changes influence how we remember and feel about past experiences? How do secular frameworks for awe, psychological, philosophical, or scientific, interact with this triad? These reflections suggest that the numinous, far from being static or linear, is a dynamic force, weaving past, present, and future into an ever-deepening tapestry of meaning. Through this interplay, the numinous becomes not just a fleeting moment, but a continual source of transformation and wonder. The inclusivity of numinous experiences mirrors the principle of quantum coherence, where distinct elements harmonize to form a unified state. In the interplay of sensory detail, divine connection, and expanded awareness, this coherence manifests as an integrated experience that bridges the physical, emotional, and spiritual. Whether through the resonant tones of Tibetan singing bowls or the tactile engagement of touching the Wailing Wall, this triad creates a profound sense of harmony, grounding the sacred and tangible details while simultaneously expanding the boundaries of awareness. Sensory details serve as the anchors of the numinous, grounding abstract transcendence in concrete, perceivable elements. The low, sonorous vibrations of a Tibetan singing bowl, for example, are not merely sounds but invitations to deeper states of being. The texture of the tones resonates within the body and mind, aligning internal rhythms with the external waves. Similarly, the rough, cool stones of the Wailing Wall in Jerusalem provide a tactile connection to the sacred, linking the physical act of touch to the weight of centuries of shared history and devotion. These sensory details draw attention inward and upward, facilitating a bridge between the mundane and the divine. Through these sensory details, divine connection emerges, a felt experience of closeness to something greater than oneself. In the presence of the singing bowl's resonant tones, one might sense a unity with the cosmos, a vibration that seems to echo the rhythm of the universe. Touching the Wailing Wall evokes a deeply personal yet collective sense of communion with the divine, as the individual becomes part of a centuries-old tapestry of prayers and longing. These connections are profoundly personal, yet they resonate universally, revealing how tangible details can serve as portals to the eternal. The divine connection fosters expanded awareness, broadening the observer's perspective on life, self, and existence. The resonant tones of the singing bowl might lead to insights into the interconnectedness of all life, each vibration a metaphor for the delicate web of existence. Touching the ancient stones of the Wailing Wall might inspire reflections on the enduring nature of faith, the shared aspirations of humanity, or the continuity of history. This expanded awareness not only reshapes the individual's understanding of the sacred, but also amplifies their appreciation for the sensory and spiritual elements that anchor it. What makes this triad particularly powerful is its capacity for dynamic sacredness, a feedback loop where expanded awareness redefines and deepens the sacred qualities of sensory details and divine connections. The more one listens to the tones of the singing bowl, the more its resonance becomes imbued with meaning, each vibration a reflection of universal harmony. Similarly, repeated engagement with the Wailing Wall reinforces its significance as the sensory and spiritual dimensions intertwine and amplify one another. This feedback loop is not static. It evolves with each experience, reflecting the fluid and ever-expanding nature of the numinous. The universality of this coherence is striking. Across cultures, certain sensory elements, such as the flicker of candlelight, the resonance of sacred music, or the texture of ancient artifacts, consistently evoke the numinous. These details seem to tap into an innate human receptivity, drawing individuals into states of heightened awareness and spiritual connection. Yet this inclusivity also allows for evolution. As expanded awareness grows, so too does the definition of what constitutes a sacred sensory detail. The singing bowl's tones might initially evoke tranquility, but later come to symbolize the very essence of universal harmony, just as a seemingly ordinary stone might gain sacred resonance through repeated contact and reflection. Consider the Tibetan singing bowls. Their resonant tones create a sensory experience that feels both grounding and transcendent, drawing the listener into a meditative state where the vibrations seem to align body, mind, and spirit. This sensory coherence fosters a sense of divine connection as the listener feels a part of something vast and rhythmic. From this connection arises expanded awareness, insights into the unity of existence or the cyclical nature of life. Over time, the listener's sensitivity to the tones deepens, reinforcing the sacredness of the experience and creating a dynamic interplay that continues to evolve. Touching the Wailing Wall exemplifies this triadic harmony in a tactile form. The feel of the ancient stones provides a sensory anchor, a tangible link to history, faith, and the prayers of countless others. This tactile engagement fosters a profound sense of divine connection, as the individual feels part of a larger story that transcends time. The expanded awareness that follows might include reflections on the enduring human quest for meaning, the resilience of shared beliefs, or the interconnectedness of all who come to this sacred site. Each subsequent visit strengthens this interplay, deepening the appreciation for both the physical and spiritual dimensions of the experience. This coherence invites reflection on what makes certain sensory details universally effective. Why do candles, sacred music, or natural sounds so often evoke the numinous across diverse cultures? How does expanded awareness reshape what we consider sacred? allowing new sensory elements to take on spiritual significance in future experiences. The inclusive nature of the numinous suggests that, as we grow in awareness and connection, the boundaries of the sacred expand with us, weaving the sensory, the divine, and the transcendent into an ever-evolving unity. Through this dynamic coherence, the numinous reveals itself as both timeless and infinitely adaptable, inviting all who encounter it into its harmonious dance. Through the lenses of quantum psychology and human experience, we see the numinous as an intricate interplay of elements that mirror the principles of quantum mechanics. Across coexistence, reinforcement, causality, nonlinear dynamics, and inclusivity, the numinous reveals itself as an experiential phenomenon deeply resonant with quantum ideas of superposition, resonance, entanglement, time reversal symmetry, and coherence. The numinous arises when environment, perception, and emotion converge in a superimposed state of potentiality. Just as quantum particles remain undefined until measured, numinous experiences require the observer effect, our cultural, emotional, and personal lenses, to collapse their manifold possibilities into a singular transformative realization of the sacred. Numinous experiences often build self-reinforcing cycles, much like the resonance seen in quantum oscillators. Stimuli like Gregorian chants or double rainbows initiate vibrations of awe and wonder that amplify through recognition and transformation. With each iteration, the system, our awareness, becomes more attuned, sustaining and deepening its sensitivity to the sacred. The interconnectedness of the numinous mirrors quantum entanglement, where the natural setting, divine encounter, and resulting insights exist in a relational web. These elements influence each other instantaneously and bidirectionally, dissolving the boundaries between the immediate and the transcendent. The roaring ocean or Mount Sinai becomes not just a physical space, but a sacred nexus, where the observer's perception of divinity shapes and is shaped by insights that ripple across time and culture. Numinous experiences transcend linear causality, weaving past, present, and future into a cohesive narrative of transformation. Just as time reversal symmetry allows quantum systems to retroactively influence prior states, life changes resulting from numinous encounters often reframe and deepen the emotional and spiritual significance of the original event, creating a recursive loop of meaning. The numinous achieves inclusivity by harmonizing sensory, emotional, and spiritual dimensions into a unified state akin to quantum coherence. Sensory anchors like the tones of Tibetan singing bowls or the texture of the Wailing Wall synchronize disparate elements of the experience, forming an integrated awareness of divine connection and expanded consciousness. This coherence evolves dynamically, allowing the sacred to adapt and grow with each encounter. In the numinous, we find a profound parallel to the quantum fabric of reality itself, dynamic, interconnected, and layered with potentiality. These experiences remind us that the sacred is not confined to the mystical or the religious. It is woven into the very structure of existence, waiting to be observed, resonated with, and transformed. Whether under the shimmering waves of the aurora borealis, within the resonant tones of sacred music, or amidst the chaotic beauty of a storm-tossed ocean, the numinous invites us into a quantum-like dance of perception, emotion, and meaning. It unites the scientific and the spiritual, the temporal and the eternal, showing us that at the heart of reality lies an infinite interplay of wonder. The numinous, then, is not merely an experience but a call to see ourselves as participants in the sacred fabric of existence, observers and co-creators of a universe where awe, connection, and transformation are not only possible but fundamental.